Hey everybody, and welcome back to a new season of Maneaters. And man, are we starting off with a bang. This is going to be the last season of Maneaters because there's only eight more, no, 10 more episodes left. So, it's 28 in total, and we've done 18. So we got 10 more to do. And we decided to, I guess, see the worst for first. I'm guessing
Get it
because
out of the
so
way.
far out of the ones that I've done, this has been like the worst acting, the worst directing, the worst um everything. Like I don't think there's a single thing here that was a even the CGI looked shitty. The thing behind me, whatever that is, that
I
all
think you're
that
going to be
was
surprised by some things I say. So
I'm pretty sure you're not gonna like it.
we'll continue. I'll,
So
I'll, I'll,
yeah,
I'll
I was blown away by how terrible this was. But I hadn't seen it before I sent it to John. And John, as far as I know, hadn't seen it.
no.
So this was your first watch, right? And
Yeah.
and you did message me and said like you hate the name Emma, which I think is funny. Now after listening to them
Yeah.
yell Emma.
I mean, it's just over and over and over and over again. I mean, it was just, I think if you did a word count on it, it'd probably be like 500 times. It reminds me of, and I know you didn't watch The Walking Dead, but the first like few seasons, there was Carl, the son of the two main characters, who was just a little kid at the time, and he would always go missing. And
I
and,
do
and they
remember
would
I did watch the first three seasons actually.
okay,
And then I
and they would
stopped.
all right, well, that's you're probably better off. And all they would do is the entire episode it would just be Carl, Carl, Carl. Where's Carl? Carl, is he here? Where's Carl? Carl. It was like the only name that I remembered in those first few seasons was Carl because he was always disappearing or wandering off or doing something stupid, and it ended up becoming like this giant meme
Hmm.
and because it was so freaking ridiculous. And that's what this reminded me of is the youngest of the three sisters is always wandering off somewhere. And and
Well,
and and so by doing that, we have to hear Emma like 600 fucking times.
yeah. So I guess we'll go into a little bit of the story real quick. So people who are not maybe familiar with this movie, which if like normally we tell you to go watch the movie for yourself. I had to get this off of YouTube. It was a shitty copy. It didn't really look that great, but it was the best, I
Yeah,
got or
not the
whatever. So
it probably improved the CGI.
probably improved the CGI, that's true. Um, but it was a really shitty copy, so it didn't look the greatest. It was blurry at times and whatnot. But aside from that, I don't consider that what the film. Like I don't, I consider that just quality of my YouTube thing. But um the film like starts out with I guess it's the ant that goes missing in the beginning. I forgot I watched it earlier, but I remember like the aunt was with her dog. They go out in the woods, or they go out driving, and then I guess
well,
they
well, hold on. So to go back, is she's shopping
right.
because her three nieces are coming,
Mm-hmm.
and the dog is kind of weird in the car looking at the forest, and there's a storm coming, and it's like Halloween Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and this drove me nuts. All the men in this were completely ignored. They said the guy at the ferry who transports the three girls over, the three nieces, says, "Don't go," like three times. The weird guy who's going over there, because he has like business to solve, uh, tells them, "Don't go there." And then there's like a third, and then there's the shop guy at the market with the ant says, "Postpone this." That stuff is driving me nuts. But yeah, she leaves the market. She's got the groceries. The dog's acting weird. They're driving. The dog's freaking out. She stops.
That's like the
The
only cool effect was the dog busting through the glass.
Yeah, the dog is getting so freaked out that it breaks through the glass of the car or the SUV or whatever she's driving, Bronco, and runs off into the woods. And it's Uger. I'm not sure what her first name is. Something
Cora
Uger.
or something?
Yeah, she's well known, so she's
Oh, the
probably the
actual
biggest name in
actress
the movie.
who played
Yeah,
her. Let
yeah,
me. She was probably the only. She was
I
probably the cameo kind of thing of like
yeah. They had her before the credits type of thing. And so she goes to look for the dog. The dog disappears into some trees. It's like whining. And then she gets sucked into this kind of weird wicker, your picture there, that has fire in it. And she gets sucked into it.
hmm
And then that goes to the credits. And we think she's dead, but she's not. She's all messed up and pops up on the side of the Bronco. And I guess the dog is dead,
right.
and then that's kind of then it cuts
Which,
to
if you're gonna
the
kill one of them,
nieces.
kill off the woman, not the dog. Let the dog
Yeah,
live.
leave the dog alone. Yeah, well, the dog's a
Jesus.
threat, so that's why it
Yeah,
kills it because
I mean, and
it's
honestly,
barking.
usually I get really mad, or whatever. But this movie was so it just pissed me off from the very beginning that like when the dog, was going out there, I just don't care, you know? And
I'm just
that's
glad
like
that we
one of the
didn't
first
see
times
it.
ever I've ever said that.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't see it. I don't mind the people because the what we find out is like 100 years ago, these two female witch. Well, I guess all witches are female. Warlocks would be male. So these two witches are burned at the stake. They put a curse on the island. We're going to come back every 100 years, and well, so maybe it was 200 years that it was because they said that everybody on the island was wiped out like 100 years ago. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe it was 200 years ago, and now
Yeah.
this would be 300 years. And they say that with it that the lightning hits them, catches them on fire, they go up into the clouds, and they become part of the storm. And I guess this creature, the one behind you, that's looks like it's like a tree or wicker or branches or something, is like a fire tree monster.
hmm
And it
Which
and
would be a
when it
cool story, I mean, in itself, but they didn't do it well enough.
yeah, and like it touches you and burns you from the inside out. So like people's eyes burst out and all of that. And the three um not cousins, the not nephew. What am I thinking of for an aunt for girls?
Niece?
Niece. Thank you. I just blanked. The nieces are going to visit the aunt, which I thought was stupid because the aunt knows this is happening. So why not just wait like 2 or 3 days? Because they're not celebrating Halloween. I mean, it's So they find the aunt dead, and from there on, this creature pursues them and starts killing everybody in town, and there's no rules to the creature. They never give a rule for it, like it can't go into water or it can't go out. The only thing we know is that I guess it's attracted to sound,
Yeah,
but
and like at
but
one point
that's
it doesn't like fire, which makes no sense at all. She lights the
yeah.
thing and I'm like, isn't it? It's made of fucking fire. Like, what? My idea would be like, why don't you use water on it, and then that might work. Like,
But it's in a storm.
all right. So I guess rain would cause it to, so why? How can it survive a storm? No, no.
I don't know. That's why they don't put any rules to it. And well, let me tell you, okay, because you might so I should have liked 90% of this movie. I should have. Automatically, I should have loved 90% of it. I mean, it's a one location movie. It takes place on an island.
I don't really
It
call that a one location because
it
I
is because they can't get off of it.
well, it
It's
is, but
it's
it
an
isn't because like
isolated like
it
one
is, but
location
like
movie.
they're able to go this place in this room in this house. Like it's
I
multiple locations in my
it
opinion, so
it
it didn't
is, but
bother
it's
me.
on Well, no, no, this isn't bothering me. I'm saying this is why I should
Well, no,
like
but
it.
I'm saying that you know that usually bothers me, and because they're going to different houses and different things, and they're I just it doesn't it actually doesn't bother me. I liked it, so I liked that. I
Okay.
like them being stranded on an island,
Yeah,
basically.
that I like that. I like the storm. I like the fog that's all around. Uh, our three leads are attractive. I even like the CGI monster, maybe because of the crappy copy, it actually looked better. I don't know, but I thought that it looked cool. And I like that it could touch somebody like on the head and they would just get fried from the inside out. I like the idea of the woods or forest, all that is good stuff. Because you could put zombies in woods, you could put monsters in woods, you could put cannibals in woods. Always works.
Hmm.
And then I like that they go underground for like the dam. So I like that they're in there. It's like I think I like the little Night of Living Dead homage, which I don't know if it was intentional or not, with the guy going into the freezer at the diner and
Hmm.
saying, "Once I close the door, I'm not opening it."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, that's Night of Living Dead." Um, which I thought was smart, where I was actually saying, once again, the girls aren't listening to the men. That's where you would go is the freezer. And I know there's two guys that go in there. One is the internet guy who, and I actually liked his character once we found out who he was, that he goes around and debunks haunted things. It kind of reminded me
Right.
of that Stephen King 1408. And of course, this he can't debunk this because it's real. But they go into the freezer and the guy's loading the shotgun and one of the shells falls on the floor next to like some sort of like a fan or something, which
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing is maybe for the cold to get through or something. I don't know. But he drops the shell and I'm thinking, okay, so if all the power's off, then what should be coming through there is the monster, which it does, which is heat. So the shell's going to go off. And it never does. It does kill the two guys in there. But I'm also thinking, and I'm putting way too much thought into this, is if that's a fan, it has a it has a pipe, like a tube or something, that then would go like that tube would lead to somewhere. So did the monster find the end of the tube and go down the tube 3 or 4 miles or something, and then pop up to kill the guys in the freezer?
Yeah, like you said, you probably thought more into it than they did. I mean, they were just like, this would be cool, pop out, and scare them or
Yeah,
whatever, kill them.
which is fine. So I think it probably something like that happened. I don't think that the monster would pop up. So I think the guys were initially correct. And plus, and the three girls, they also just didn't listen to people in general,
Hmm.
because there is a woman at the end, and that they find under trees. Like for some reason, this creature buries people under trees, and there's all the limbs and the like the tree limbs and the branches and I don't know, moss and all that stuff on them. And she keeps telling them, even the people in the diner keep telling them, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut
And
up. And that's
later, yeah, later that one lady that's in the tree is telling him, tell her to shut up. Like, shut up, shut up. Like, if you talk,
yeah.
this thing it will get you. Like, and then that woman gets eaten and killed by the fucking monster because of their fucking, Emma, where are you, Emma?
Yeah.
And then they go and grab her. They find Emma, and they start going, "Ah," like still making loud noises. And I'm like, shut the fuck up! Like you literally, if somebody tells you
It's
to shut up because that's how the monster finds you,
well,
shut
and
up.
I because it was mostly men, I'm thinking like, and I didn't look to see when this was made, but I'm thinking like, oh, is this supposed to be like some anti-toxic male type of thing where, oh, well, we're not going to listen to men, so we're just going to do what we want, even though
Yeah,
we could clearly see that people are getting murdered if we're screaming Emma everywhere,
right. Well,
and
I don't think it was that because there was that woman. So unless they did that for most of it, which they did for most of the people were men, who told him to shut the fuck up. There were women that also said that too. So, I don't know if the
Yeah,
other ladies said it too, because there's that one girl who was helping the men out at one point,
the waitress from the
the
diner. Yeah.
waitress from the diner. And so I don't know if she also told them to shut the fuck up too, and or so. But she did sort of take charge in a way too at times. So I don't know. Um I I was laughing my ass off because they were like, you know, don't let them go. Don't let, nobody's allowed to go. And the whole time I'm thinking, you don't know these bitches, just let them go. Like, why are you trying to keep them there? They're gonna do is just cause problems. And so why don't you let them go find their sister if that's what they want to do, you know? Um,
But like the guy with the mullet who was at the diner, who
yeah,
would
that's the
basically
most
be,
annoying guy. I don't like him.
but he was right. Overall, I mean, he does die, but he was right. Was saying we just need to stay in one place
Right.
and just wait this out. And which is kind of like Harry from Night of the Living Dead saying we just need to go down to the basement and wait till morning. And granted, he dies and the wife dies because of the daughter. This is kind of the same thing. They go into the refrigerator, him and the internet guy, and they do both die. But the idea that of staying in one location until sunrise would have been the smartest thing if they just would have shut up. Because I was thinking, like, how did this creature find them at that entrance to underground, the underground dam stuff?
Mhm.
Well, she's using a rock to mash the friggin' lock with.
Right.
So the creature could probably hear that like a mile away.
Yep. I mean,
And,
the
and and
creature
it
has
didn't
really good
help.
hearing. That's what we learn, and stuff. So it's kind of like the movie The Quiet Place, where if you just
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, you'll survive, you know, and stuff like that. But like if you don't, these things will hear you and they will come for you. This thing will hear you and it's coming for you. And I don't know. Did the girl the one okay, so my thought was, okay, well, at least, I mean, they did go back to find Emma and they did get her finally or whatever. But then at the
What
cost
a
of one sister dying too, right? The one sister died.
Yeah, she could see all the branches and vines and all that stuff in her. And what a pure coincidence that they just happened to be at the thing's like nesting place
Hmm.
and find all these people. I mean, it's just like, wow, those are like 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds that, but I guess
Yeah.
movie wise,
Oh
they
my
have to
God, that was
find them.
so annoying too because she was like, she's got to be in one of these. And I'm like, how do you know? Like the thing just
Yeah.
kills people too. It doesn't just just doesn't keep everybody alive. It kills some people, then keeps others alive. How do you know that Emma's not dead? And how do you know it's in one of those things? You are literally like causing problems for everybody by once again causing problems to one lady who keeps telling them, shut the fuck up, tell her to shut the fuck up. And then the girl, the one that's like the one I liked at first, because she seemed like the smarter one, the one that was trying to light the cigarette and shit like that. Marley, I liked her at first because I was
Like
like, oh, this
the
one's gonna be the
the
one that
middle
actually,
sister, I think.
yeah, the middle sister. I was like, she's gonna be the smart one. She's gonna know how to do everything like that. No, she's a fucking moron, just like her other sister. Like, and that got me pissed off. I'm like, you can write these badass characters, right? Because you can make the first, the older one think she's the leader, but really the middle one knows how everything's done, and the youngest is just an idiot getting herself into trouble, right? And stuff. So it just annoyed me because you had all these ways to make this such a fun movie, and you screw it up by making everybody the same. Everybody is a moron in this fucking movie. And
Oh
that,
yeah, yeah.
and that just pissed me off, except for the mullet guy. He was the one who wasn't a moron, but he was surrounded by morons, and that's what got him killed, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of like the it's maybe it sounds like I'm siding with racists, but it's like Harry and Night of the Living Dead was right. you know, because the guy does survive, and and then he gets shot, but he did survive the night. And then like the racist guy in the most recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the nicest guy in the movie, but yet he's like the Southern guy, and he's got the Confederate flag up, and it's all the people around him are friggin' assholes.
Well, he's not
And
even,
and
he's
he
not, I don't think he's even racist at all.
well, no,
He's
okay,
just,
take back the racist.
well,
It's
no, but
probably just
I'm
because
just
of the
saying they made
Confederate
him out to
flag,
look like he's
like
racist,
a racist. Yeah.
and then he wasn't, his character wasn't racist at all. That was what fucking bugged me about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, if you're gonna make that character like that, just go on, fucking make it. But they were too afraid to offend people, I think, in that movie. And that's why that movie just, that's why a lot of these movies suck these days. They're afraid to offend people, even racists. Like, and
Well,
so, but anyway,
and
like,
that's the same thing with the mullet guy in this. He's probably voting for Trump, and he's got the truck, and he's got the mullet, and he's got the shotgun, and but in this case, he's absolutely right. We stay in one place until morning,
well, I
and
mean, you give those guys that like character so that nobody listens to them because everybody looks and goes, well, that guy, like you, you'd be like, oh, that guy voted for Trump. You probably say that in real life and be like, I'm not listening to that motherfucker. You know?
oh,
Now,
I
if
I,
he
I
said
do.
that to you, if he said to you, literally, stay in here, you'd be like, I'm going with the racist. I'm going
Yeah.
with the country guy. Like, I don't care. This is the smartest thing I've heard all day. And
I'm going with the guy that's got the tattoo of the Confederate flag on his arm. He seems to make more sense than you guys.
I know you guys are
But
morons, but
of
whatever.
course they may. I mean, if they had waited till morning, let's just say, and it all worked out, and the thing disappeared in the sunlight. Um, I'm guessing they still would have found the sister.
Right.
I'm guessing.
Maybe. I mean, see, that's what I was thinking too. Is like, what's with the nesting? Do they just feed on them while they're nesting, or do they like, is there a
I don't know. It's like
plan
an
for them?
alien thing.
Yeah, because she
Because why
wasn't
why
really
keep
hurt other
sending?
than the leg thing that she got hurt before. She was hurt earlier with her leg.
Well, and,
Um,
and and nothing with the youngest one, Emma, you know, matters. So she has visions. Her parents died in a fiery car crash that she narrowly escaped from. So now she's like this basket case where the middle sister has no patience and the older sister does. Who cares? What what does that there's nothing in the movie that uses that. It's not like she's like, oh, I just went to bed and I had flashes, and I'm gonna see you two die when you go around that corner.
well, no, because like she has the flashes and a guess, and then she decides to take off the second time. Because the first time she takes off is right before the ferry comes, and that was very inconvenient for everybody. People were like, "What is going on?" You know what? If
Yeah,
they
because
just
she's
said, we'll
selfish.
we'll catch the next ferry in, a couple of days, they would have survived this whole thing. So maybe the Emma was right to just escape, you know. Maybe they should have all just waited until, like, but I mean, they wouldn't have, they weren't able to save their aunt anyway. So, like, if they didn't go, nothing would have happened. They would have came back. They would have found that their aunt was dead and they would have been sad, but like, they would have survived all of it. All of them would have survived had
Right.
they not even got on the fucking ferry.
Excuse
But,
me.
of course, story can't happen unless they get
But
on that ferry and go. And
I
so,
don't see any purpose for her having these
no.
visions. It serves all it because okay, let's say you wipe out her backstory. It's three sisters going to the island to visit their mom and dad for it's snowing. I kind of like that it was snowing and it was Halloween, but let's just say they're going for Christmas. And they get to the island and they find their mother dead, they find the parents dead, and they have to escape this thing. Nothing's changed.
My thing would have been if they used she kept having the visions every time to get them out of. out of trouble with this. If you're going to introduce visions, a supernatural sort of occurrence, then, use that, to your advantage. Have the character be able to continually have visions every once, kind of like Cordelia in Angel, where she can just have these visions that appear and it's obnoxious. She hates them, but, they help her get out of trouble, right? Or whatever. And so these kids can, like, every time the things coming around, oh God, I have a vision that things coming this way, let's go that way or whatever, right? Or, oh my God, that person is going to die. Let's go and save them, you know? That could be
Well,
pretty cool.
well, yeah, you could do something, yeah, like that. You could do like where everybody dies that comes in contact with the creature, except Emma does come in contact with the creature, but they pull her away. So, like, she's half like messed up.
Hmm.
But because she survived, there's a connection to the creature. That's where she's getting the visions. The creature realizes a little bit later, like, oh shit, this chick is knowing what I'm doing. And that's why he wants Emma, or it wants Emma. And so it's coming after Emma, which is why it keeps Emma up, up by the tree, because that's its lair. I mean, you got to do something. Why does she have visions? What is the point of the visions? I mean, is this Dead Zone? I mean, where
But see,
it,
like they should have done that. They should have made it more like Dead Zone. They should have made it more like Cordelia and Angel. They should have done a lot of these things, cool things with it, but they didn't. That to me is the beginning of the shitty writing. Now, uh, when I sent you this thing, I don't know if you saw the title for the Zoom. But instead of
I
just
did.
saying the hollow is the hollow piece of crap, and I kind of like that's how I feel about this movie. Is it's a hollow movie, it's a hollow script. I mean, it definitely fits the title. It to me, it's just it, after watching it, and the acting, oh my God, the way they said certain things drove me through the roof. Like I was just like, can you act that terrible? Like on purpose? Like, I mean, um, my biggest thing is, and I want to say this on Facebook at someday. I'm gonna figure out a time to say it or whatever. But indie filmmakers and indie actors, memorize your fucking lines because I see so many of these movies where the actors stumble on their lines because they don't have them memorized. So they stumble on the lines and it looks terrible for them, and that's what happened with this movie a lot. Is they stumbled on their lines a lot and it just didn't sound natural. It sounded like they were trying to remember what they were supposed to say, and it's just
The
terrible.
acting didn't bother me. Yeah, it didn't bother me
Acting
at
didn't
all.
bother you at all?
No, I thought the oldest sister was a little weak, but otherwise, I thought everybody was.
I
I
like
mean, for the
Marley.
type of
Like I
movie
like the
that it
middle
is,
girl. Emma got on my nerves real fucking quick. Not just her leaving and stuff, but when she came back, all that stuff. I'm like, God, girl, just die. Just die. I
oh my
don't
god,
care.
she's the Gilligan of this movie. I mean, just get rid of her. Just stop. I mean, she is such a beta. I mean, it's like she keeps running away. Stay away from me, and just hide. Just like we haven't seen this creature kidnap anybody. So how would that even happen? I mean, if it's touching somebody and burning them, I mean, how does it even happen? But if Emma would have just, let's say, if she just ran away, went into a bar or something, and hid,
Hmm.
everything probably would have been fine until the morning.
Yep. But of
And it,
course.
yeah, and she just everything with her. She says, "Oh, when they go down into like that underground thing for the dam." Emma turns and looks at the two sisters and goes, "I'm scared." And the other sister goes, "Well, we're all scared." But it's like, no fucking shit. Really?
Yeah. Do we have to like mention that,
Yeah,
Like
it's like you're trying to outrun this, wicker fire monster. And
Wicker Fire
yeah,
Monster.
I
Maybe
I
that's
don't know
what it
what to
should have been
call it.
called, the Wicker Fire Monster.
The wicker fire monster.
I mean, it makes more
I,
sense than the Hollow. I don't even. I guess the Hollow is supposed to be like wood, but like it didn't know. That was a shitty
well,
title.
yeah, I because of it, I had to turn the sound up all the way, and the picture was bad on the video. So I thought, well, maybe this thing is on, another website or something. And so I looked on the one that I normally go to, and there's like 4 or 5 movies called The Hollow or just Hollow,
Right.
and
One of
and
them was like a Sleepy Hollow, movie, by the way. I was like Sleepy Hollow. If I'm correct, even Eric or Anthony Ferrante, for the guy who did directed Sharknado, had a part to it. If I'm correct, it was like a TV kind of movie, made for TV movie, just like this was, but it was made like 2000 and something or earlier than this. Was it? Um, yeah. Oh, okay, it wasn't him. Okay, but yeah, it was a Sleepy Hollow one, and it actually looks cooler than this. I would have rather have watched this movie where it's the Headless Horseman. You can see that.
because it's being really reflected.
Ah, let me see if I can turn this down
Yeah,
real quick.
I just have like yeah. You got to get closer to the screen with it. All I see is just light.
Ah, that's because the stupid thing. Yeah, you
Oh,
don't
I
have
know that film. I know that film. Yeah, The Hollow. Yeah, yeah.
to.
With the head.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, it was it's probably better than this movie, honestly. But
Well, two different type of movies, but the same title, I guess. But it's and this movie didn't have to be 1 hour and 52 minutes. I mean, it's
And well, and in
that's
generally these movies aren't that long, especially for the Maneaters, but like because these are made for television, these are made for sci-fi. Generally speaking, they want an hour and a half movie because they want to put commercials
Are you
and
sure this is Maneaters then? Because this stuff it doesn't seem to me like a Maneaters thing.
it
It's not an
is. It
animal.
is. It is sadly. I looked it up online and there's a list of all the Maneaters movies, all 28 of them. And the last one, it's the last one. It's the one that killed Maneaters, by the way. So blame this movie for never getting another Maneaters series. They were probably like, if it's gonna all be like this, nope, we're done. Um, but it was what is it? It was a man-eaters. It was a curse because they have all a list of all the different all the different movies and what each and every one of them are. Like I guess what the like if it's a lion or if it's a sea beast or whatever. And this was listed as curse, and I was like, I guess like that's what you call it. It's a curse because it's the witch's curse, you know?
Yeah, well, it's the fog. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's the fog. I mean,
See,
if the
that would
fog
have
was
been cooler, but
less
I guess
bad.
they can't do that for man-eater. This isn't like this. They don't really eat men in this, and that sort of became a problem I have with a lot of these. Is there wasn't a lot of eating, in these movies. It's just they called them man-eaters, for the series.
I take offense to that title. It should be called Human Eaters or People Eaters. What
One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
why is
See,
it well, why
that's a
does it
purple
only eat
people eater,
men? Women
and
don't get eaten? Can't be woman eaters,
women do get eaten in these
person
movies.
eaters, people eaters, human
Mm.
eaters. It's yeah.
You're
So
offended. You're offended. Very
I'm
offended.
deeply offended. I'm deeply
Oh,
offended by that. Everybody's offended these days, so I thought that I would join them.
yeah, why
Um,
not? I mean, join the club.
yeah, yeah. I was I did watch it in one sitting. I know that you went to go do something and then came back,
I
and
mean, I had 20 minutes left. It wasn't like I had like half the movie or something. Like I had 20 minutes left of it, but I did have to take a break because when it got to like the 20-minute mark was when they were getting getting her out of there or whatever, Emma, finding Emma and everything, which that would be a better title, Finding Emma. Um, because that's the whole movie
oh,
was.
Phantoms. This also reminded me of Phantoms. And
but it
you
didn't
know
have
who
Ben Affleck was in
and
it,
you know who was the bomb in Phantoms.
but Affleck wasn't in it. Wasn't in this one.
Yeah, but he
So he
was
can't
the
be the
bomb in
bomb in
Phantoms.
the Hollow.
No, but he was the
No,
bomb in Phantoms.
he was. Phantom's like a motherfucker.
So
Um, but yeah,
bitter
I
movie too, and that was only 90 minutes.
see. Dean Koontz should have wrote this, because like he's a better writer. You know,
Well, his book's like that thick, So Phantoms is pretty shaved down from the book, so it's that's why
I've
the
never
reason.
actually read a full Dean R. Koontz. I was a R.L. Stein fan, and you're gonna be like, yeah, of course you were. I
Well,
guess that's
I'm thinking that in my head. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because that seems to be like me, like Are You Afraid of the Dark and R.L. Stein, Goosebumps and shit.
Well, and
So,
we were discussing this on another video. It just shows when you were born, and
well,
and,
those were
and
yeah, those were the things, and Dean R. Koontz, I think, was a little earlier, that he was getting there. So you might be more
yeah,
familiar with his
Watchers
work.
is one of my favorite books, and I really wish somebody would actually make the book into a movie since they've already made like three, no, four of them.
I thought they did.
So
I thought wasn't there a
it's not
Corey
the book.
Haim movie called
None of them,
Watchers?
yeah, none of them are the book.
They're nothing like the book, but they
No,
took the title
the
from
the
the.
idea is there that it's a man. It's not a teenager. It's an adult who's has the dog, who's also like escaped from a lab, and then the Watcher who is jealous of the dog, and that's who the Watcher is chasing is the dog, and it meets up with like a man and a woman who Watchers 2 is closer to the book. So it's the book is very good, and Strangers is good, Phantoms is good, and he wrote under a few aliases too. Um, but yeah, the first Watchers movie is barely the book
Okay, interesting.
because
I
it's just a
just
guy in a gorilla suit in the first movie.
I
He was
just remember Corey Haim being in that movie,
yeah.
and I've never seen it. Not that I wanted to. It's just so many fucking movies out there, horror films especially. Just I haven't seen everything, and so eventually I'll
Excuse me.
probably will. It's just it hasn't happened yet. So.
No, we played it at the movie theater that I worked at. So I watched the movie, then I read the book and went, "Wow, this is nothing like the book."
Nothing like the book. And was that the best Dean R. Koontz thing you've ever read?
I haven't read all of his stuff, but it's one of my favorites. I mean, Strangers is really good. I mean, Phantoms is good. It's
He-
different than the
so
movie,
Dean
but
R. Koontz was more of the like Stephen King for kids, right? Like for
oh no,
teens.
oh no,
No?
no,
I thought he did a lot of teen stuff.
no, not at all.
He did. He did.
No,
I remember a bunch of teen stuff he did. Yeah.
Midnight is a werewolf novel. No, I read that one too. No,
I don't know. He's not. I swear to God, he did YA stuff. I'm not
no,
making that shit up.
no. He wrote under like three or four aliases too, and all that stuff was science fiction, and his books were
Uh,
horror. He was Stephen King. He was just known as the lesser Stephen King. But
ah,
it's like Phantoms is kind of like his version of it.
okay, that makes sense. All
So
right. It's been a while since I've seen Phantoms. I saw it when it first came out, and I saw it on the VHS when it first came out, and I fucking loved it. Um, you know, because well, I mean, I was becoming a big, huge fan of Ben Affleck, so I was watching everything, from Chasing Amy on. I became a huge fan of his. So '98, I think, is when, if I'm correct, is when Phantoms came out, and I was just a huge fan. You know. A fan of
uh,
Phantoms. I'm a fan, Tom.
uh,
Anyway, we're moving on. To talk more about this movie. And well, actually, I mean we'll pretty much wrap it up in a second about it because there's really not much else to talk about. There's not really that.
no,
It's
no.
not an
I mean,
intricate plot or anything. And the
my conclusion on it is that I should have liked it and I didn't. It's too long. It should have been like 90 minutes. And I should have loved it with everything that's in it, and I didn't.
yeah.
So that's a
Yeah,
problem.
somehow it just fell flat. And I think a lot of it has to do with writing. in the direction and stuff, and just kind of how sort of boring it was. I mean, Wilson, who directed the film, had done a few for the Maneaters, and all three are, I guess, going to be done in this season because I think he did Scarecrow as well. And do you know which the one? Do you know what that's the Maneater in that one is?
Scarecrow?
Yeah,
Is that, well, the Scarecrow, I guess.
Scarecrow. Yeah, that would be my guess. I would
Well,
hope
who's
so.
in that? I have one from the Sci-Fi Channel, but it doesn't say. It's got Lacey
Maneaters. Yeah, it's Lacey
Chabert.
Chapert.
Chabert
Chapert. Produced it. Yeah, and I think she
doesn't
stars
say
in it.
Maneaters. It just says Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, some of them were still man-eaters. They just didn't get the man-eaters label. Later in the the thing because they stopped actually putting the man-eaters like logo and label on it. Like after I forgot which one. It it was crap. Let me see. Um, so man eaters series. God damn it. There's a lot of man eaters, by the way. Um, so you just gotta look up man eater series and you can see everything about it because they got a whole Wikipedia just on the film series. So yeah, it's the films and series. So I think after Carney or no, Rise of the Gargoyles did it. Malibu Shark Attack had one. Sand Serpents, Hellhounds. So after Roadkill, Scarecrow, Shark Killer, and the Hollow did not get um the Maneaters logos for some reason.
Hmm.
And I think were all those directed by Sheldon Wilson? Yeah,
I
all
don't
three of
think
them were directed by
the
Sheldon Wilson. So I don't know what the reasoning behind that was.
well,
Maybe
maybe they weren't made as part of that series and they picked them up
I'm not sure. Um,
because
well,
that Malibu Shark Attack I don't think says man eaters. I think it says
yeah,
Sci-Fi
mine
Channel.
did. Mine did on it. I don't have it on me right now, but it's back in the
Hmm.
studio. But I remember seeing it on there. It's on the top, like it says Maneater series. So, but it
Okay.
doesn't have the full logo thing like all the rest of them do. So I think it was starting to get to the point where they were just like, we don't really care, you know, like we're just gonna put these out and whatnot. But yeah, Scarecrow, the Hollow, and Shark Killer are the ones, and those three will be done this year. And I'm gonna guess. My guess is they're not gonna be that good, and they were just kind of tacked on to the Maneater series. Like you said, maybe just they were added to it, but they're not real. They weren't made to be Maneater series,
Right.
and stuff. So, but when we saw it this morning, I mean, we didn't get when I sent it to you. It just starts from the movie, the beginning of the movie doesn't really even show like a production company logo or anything. And
Yeah, it
so,
just starts with a woman walking out of a market before the ant does. Yeah. And then
yeah,
even the ending is just kind of ends. Like
yeah,
I think it like starts up the credits and then it just stops.
yeah, it stops halfway through or not even halfway through. Because I guess that's all the person had that sent it out or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. I got it on YouTube, got it off of YouTube, and then I wasn't sure how long that would last. Sometimes movies like that get, taken down or whatever and stuff. So I copied it and put it on mine, as an unlisted thing. Uh Anyway, I want to say thank you, John, because you've been on the show for three times. So every season, this is your third, and I guess this will probably be your final episode of Maneaters. So I really want to thank you for coming on. I want to let you know, like the first you were on the first episode of every season, by the way.
Oh wow. Cool.
I did not do that on purpose, actually. That just happened to be the first one was Sea Beast, I believe. Um, and that was the James Vanderbeek one that we watched. if I'm correct. Do you remember that? This is 2 years ago, I guess.
I
So
remember the one with the octopus in it.
was that it? Was that
I think it's an octopus. I don't think I own CBs, but I don't think I
okay?
watched it.
Hold
But I
on.
know that we
Let me get the one we did. Where was it?
Beast of the Sea or
No,
Beast Eye of the
Eye of
Beast.
the Beast. That's it. Okay, we didn't do Sea Beast. We did Eye of the Beast. And so yeah, so that was the first one we did. So
What
the
was the
next
second one?
one we did was Black Swarm, um,
Oh yeah, yeah, with Robert Englund in that one, yeah.
with Robert Englund.
And then this one, yeah.
And then yeah, and then yeah, then this one. So we did three. So thank you. And which one so far was your favorite of those three?
I'm gonna say Black Swarm.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I think
I'm
so too,
disappointed
of
in the
all the ones
monster in
of those
this.
three. What?
I think the monster in this one was cool. I think that they just should have been more interesting.
I think it looked, I mean, I think I ragged on the CGI in the beginning, but really the CGI was probably the best part of the movie. Um, because like at least we had something, you know, we had a monster of some sort, happening. It wasn't like a boring movie. You don't see the monster at all, and then people are just dying, or whatever. Like it's kind of cool. So I don't know. I liked it. I liked the monster. I didn't just I felt like the writing was just terrible and stuff for it. I was just kind of disappointed. And
It's yeah. I think they would have had. I think I would have actually liked the movie if it was like 90 minutes. It just
yeah, I think if they cut it down shorter, they had less of them screaming Emma, and maybe concentrated more on them finding the people and then
well,
them
and
going out.
yeah. And if I were to do it, like if I were to remake it, I would knock Emma out and just make it two sisters that are coming over to visit the parents, and then
Well,
that
they made Emma so that they had to reason to leave the place because otherwise they would have just been like, let's go in the basement and not.
well, she's there to expand the length of the movie. Because if we could then spend 5 or 10 minutes just yelling Emma and trying to find her, the movie's going to be longer.
Yeah.
Because she really doesn't. Even the ending of the film is kind of boring. Is that the middle sister looks like she's going to die, and she sees the creature in the tree above her, and then and Emma's like, it's dawn, bitch, type of thing, and then it kind of disappears.
Evaporates.
It
Yeah,
kind
it
of like,
disappears.
yeah, when it should have been done more creatively, where like you see the shadow or like the sun coming up on it, and as it's about to kill her, it looks up and there's the sun right there, and then it's like,
Or
but there was
should
no
somehow figure out
drama
a
put
way
into it.
that Emma could have blocked, the thing from seeing the sun and then going, here you go, and then, like, oh,
Well,
damn.
that's what they did in like the Hammer Dracula movies. Is they always found a way of getting Dracula hit by sunlight. So at times it's by either like moving across into like as a shadow into the sunlight, or breaking like a stained glass window, and then it would like shoot at him. I mean, there was they always try to get him like in front of the sunlight. So,
Yep, there you go.
but
That would have been
in
great, and it
this,
would have been great throwback to like the
yeah,
vampire movies and shit. So yeah,
yeah,
but eh, woulda, shoulda, coulda, didn't.
yeah. I don't think. I was trying to think. Like, I liked enough stuff in it, but I didn't like the movie. If I found this at like Zia Records or something, or deep discount for $3, would I buy it? And I'm like, God, I don't know. I like the
I
monster. I
would,
like the
but
setting.
only because I'm collecting all the Maneaters. So if I find it out in the
Well,
wild,
then that makes
but
sense.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't spend a lot of money on it,
like
like
$5.
yeah, $5, 10 at the most, because you have to count in like shipping and handling for a lot of these things. So 10 at the most, but like no. I would not. I wouldn't be spending like 20, 30 bucks. Like I spent
Oh
like
no.
$30 or whatever on XCU, which, Paul was like, "Oh, I can find that on my sketchy Russian porn site." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's great. It's a digital. I want to actually have own a copy of the fucking movie, or whatever. It's great. You can find on your Russian porn site." I think it's just an excuse for him to go to his porn site. Um, but anyway, my point being that I would rather have a copy of it because of the collection, not because I like the
Sure.
movie. I probably would never watch it again. I would just own it in my Maneaters collection,
Yeah, it would
you
be a
know.
tough one to get
I
through.
just I don't think I'd be interested. I think it's like, okay, I've seen it, you know, and like I watched the
It's just
whole
too
thing.
long.
Yeah, I watched a whole hour and 52 minutes and it's done, you know? Like literally at an hour and 32 minutes where I stopped it because I was like, I got 20 minutes left, I'll finish it later. That's where it should have ended, period, like that time period. But
Well,
whatever.
yeah, because I could manage if somebody did want to see it for some reason. I could sit through 90 minutes maybe, but
Yeah, but
I don't want to
see,
sit through almost 2 hours of
but
this
once
again.
again, I think you said it before that if it was an hour and a half, you probably would have actually liked it. And
Yeah,
I literally think
I think
that's
so.
the truth because I feel like, I mean, you wouldn't love it, but I think you would have been like, this is a pretty cool idea for a movie of Humphrey
I
Reed.
didn't hate Black Swarm. I didn't hate Eye of the Beast. I didn't. They're fun films. They're fine. They're okay.
They're
You
fine.
know, they're fine. It's fine. But I wouldn't. I don't know if I go back and revisit those, but because of the length and they were entertaining, I would, if somebody wanted to watch it, I'd sit down with them. But
All
if
right.
they said, let's watch this, it's like, dude, no, it's almost 2 hours. Pick something shorter.
You know what? It's so funny that you say that because a friend of mine comes over all the time on Sunday nights and would watch movies with me. And I'd be like, "You want to watch this movie?" He'd be like, "What's the length?" Like, it's an hour and 52 minutes. No, no, thank you. Let's watch something else. They're like, "You want to watch a TV show?" You'd be like, "Sure." You know, like that's the sad thing now is like, I mean, it's just time. It's like fitting time in with people. And, if you have an hour and 30 minutes, generally you do for people, you have at least up to 2 hours, but like, you don't want the whole 2 hours to be spent watching the fucking movie, or whatever, you want time to hang out and do stuff. So like an hour and 30 minutes is a generally a good time. And I don't know. I don't know why this was so long. But
That's what I'm thinking. It probably wasn't originally a Maneaters movie.
and
So
yeah, I think it just got added
it's too
into it
long.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Especially if it's going to play it. Because it did look like it had commercial breaks. It did fade to black for a couple seconds and
oh
then
yeah, it
fade
was
back
made
up.
for sci-fi for some reason or another.
It's too, unless they had it in a 2 hour and 30 minute time slot.
It was so
There's
funny.
no way they would only put in 8 minutes of commercials.
They should have done something with the smoking too, because like,
Oh, they
um,
did.
what? What did I miss?
She smoked, so we knew that she had a lighter, so that
Um,
she could take the waitress's apron and stuff it in the truck and blow it up.
right.
Stuff it in the gas
And they
tank.
use the lighter again when it the lighter, the fire hits the thing and it runs away like scared of the fire. Do you remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
scene? Yeah. So
yeah.
like they did it, but like I mean I meant like more of like she could be she could be like, anybody got a light, and like throw the thing at him and it just explodes and like kills the whole thing. But of course, the only way to kill it for real, because we even had electricity, the only way to kill it for real was if the sunlight came, and it's just
That's
done.
something I did not understand, because if everybody's telling them all you got to do is hide until sunrise, just hide, because what would a gun do? It just kind of stops it for a second.
It just
So
annoys it. It's like,
yeah, and then at the end, when the middle sister uses the bar and she's like stabbing it in that in the way to get down below with the ladder, that entrance. What is the bar sticking to?
Mm,
So once the creature's gone, why is the bar still sticking out? Like it got stuck on something. Like what did it get stuck on? And once again, the bar isn't going to help you.
mm-mm.
Close the door, maybe it might stop it for a second or two, but the idea is just hiding.
Right.
That's it. If the that's that's why the Night of Living Dead, our main character, is 100% wrong. You don't need to board up the house. You don't need to do all that type of stuff. You just need to go down to the basement. That's it. And just wait till morning.
I forgot
So
why morning. I guess morning was because the all the people, the cops came at the end or whatever, the morning or whatever.
what, for
But
Night of Living
like
Dead?
for Night of the Living Dead, but
It's figured that it's just easier to get out. The zombies would probably go away. They could see them better. They could get out of there
right.
and all that. Yeah, maybe a rescue party would show up. But then
That
Dwayne.
night of the Living Dead, night is tougher to deal with all these. Once again, another thing with this movie, night, they can barely see anything. We can barely see anything. It's too dark, you know. So like, why go looking for Emma right now? Like, if you think that she might be dead, might as well wait till next morning, and well, you'll see. And if she does die, then I mean it was her fault for running out. I mean, I hate to saying that. That sounds terrible, but it was her fault running out. She even said, "Leave me alone" or whatever. Stay away from me. And remember, in the
Yeah,
written on
on
the
the
window or
yeah,
whatever. So like,
which they foreshadowed because she made like the two eyes on the window, so she could write something on the window.
I
So
guess
it's
I
and
didn't
and
think of that
and
as
if
foreshadowing. That
Emma,
is
I mean, it's, I guess it's to show that the windows, you could write on them for whatever reason. But yeah, if Emma died, the two sisters would still be alive. But
yep.
because the older sister died, we still have two. So it's not like all of them died or only one survived. You would still have two sisters at the end. I did laugh out loud when they're like, "Oh my God, she's right here," and it's like that forest is like 1,000
And
miles.
and they couldn't even see her. I was like, how do you know she's in that like one like thing? They literally could not see her until they like started opening it up, which they kept making noises while they were opening it up. And that woman was like, "Shut the fuck up! The thing's coming. The thing's gonna come." And
It's
then
probably better off to just leave her there.
yeah, because it didn't seem like she was hurt from it. It seemed like she was sleeping.
No,
You
she
know,
was just kind of hanging out. Same thing with that other woman. Don't get her out. I mean, it's not like an Alien or Aliens where they're trying to take somebody off of a wall and the aliens are everywhere. You,
right?
you know, so it's like, well, if you probably stay and help somebody, either an alien's going to pop out of them, or you're going to get killed or something. They're going to die anyways. But with her, she was just under the tree, so just leave her alone because I don't know what else this creature's doing. Like, what
Mm-mm.
is it doing with these? That's why I say there's no rules set up.
No
So
rules,
if they
and
did,
yeah, you don't understand a thing about this movie throughout it. At the end of the day, I still don't understand what the point of this movie was. You know, um,
no,
I,
it's just some curse that two witches put on the island, and that's about it. I would have been happier if it was the two witches coming back.
yeah, but then it wouldn't be Maneaters, I guess.
No,
No, but like you said,
well,
it didn't feel like Maneaters anyway, so might as
no,
well not have been.
yeah,
Right.
because this thing didn't eat anything. I mean, it just killed them.
I think the three movies that Sheldon did that are in these the other three, the Scarecrow, the uh shark movie, and this, they were probably all not meant to be man-eaters, but they only had 25, you know, of them before, and so they're like, let's tack on another one or another
Well, it's
three.
yeah. I mean, it's that's probably what happened. I mean, even I don't know if you ever watched Rod Serling's Night Gallery, which he did in the '70s, which I loved. But they had, I think it was the last season, they just took another show and just called it Night Gallery. So Rod Serling would come out, introduce it, we'd look at the painting and then he'd introduce it. But it was a guy, one man that was in every episode because it was like his series. But they still called it Night Gallery because I guess they weren't going to film season 3 or something. And they're
Right.
like, oh, look, this could be season 3. So, I mean,
I
it
mean,
kind of
smart
worked,
idea.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So I probably a lot of places do those type of things is they just find one or two movies to kind of fill in the two that they need and just
Yep.
call it whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter. Like Paul last season watched it was High Plains Invaders or whatever, and it was
Mm.
the James
Yeah, I know that
Marsters,
one.
but it they didn't eat anyone. So like it wasn't like, you know, like they were like he got mad about that. It was like this was a man-eaters. Nobody ate any men. This movie,
Well,
like nobody
I mean, I
ate
guess it's
anybody.
just a title. I mean, I guess that's it. They just figure, oh, okay, we'll just call it
But no,
Maneaters.
I mean, originally it was, I think. I think originally because they had the movie Maneater, which starred Gary Busey. Then they had a few other ones like Croc with those are man eaters, a crocodile and a lion or whatever,
Lion, shark. Yeah, those are
shark.
all, yeah.
Yeah, man eaters perfect for that. But then, you're starting to get like, okay, what else can we do? Right? And then I think a lot of times movies like what is it? Movies like High Plains Invaders probably came there and they just tacked the Maneater's title onto it. But they weren't probably, just like this one, they weren't probably planning for it to originally be a Maneaters. They're just like, we need more
Yeah.
for this Maneater series, and then we'll put that on there. But they actually gave them the logo for it. So it is technique, and I mean, if you look it up on Wiki, those are still Maneaters movies. They were just like the later Maneaters. So this is a Maneaters, but it wasn't. It's a later one, which I guess whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I guess yeah, it happens. I mean,
I mean, I have
I
to do
have
them all. Like I had to do all 28 of them,
well,
and
there you go.
some of
There
them
you
were
go.
tough to find. Like this one was, I had to find on YouTube, and a couple of them I had to find on YouTube. But the rest I have on DVD and stuff. Or um, so we'll have some really cool guests this year. This is going to be the season finale, so it'll end in I think December. But man, John, thank you for coming out and doing this. Like and surviving an hour just chatting about it. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I should have liked it and I just didn't. I just don't.
Yeah, and that
It,
all it all if you had heard the storyline of this and that was all you saw, you'd be like, this sounds like something I would like. And then you watch it and you're like, I don't know what happened, but just something got lost in the translation.
Yeah, yeah. Because I texted you saying, if we weren't reviewing this, I probably would have turned it off.
Mm.
And I think I would have only turned it off because of how long it was. Like if it was 80 minutes or 90
Well,
minutes, I would have stuck through it. But
I think that was your first thing, but saying to me was like, this is an hour and 52 minutes.
yeah,
And
yeah, I actually scanned through the movie first. I did like when you hit the scan, I went up to like whatever the highest scan number was and scanned through the whole movie. I'm like, there's no way this is an hour and 52 minutes. I'm like, maybe it's just like black. Like it's 90 minutes and then it's just black for like another 22 minutes.
nope.
That there was like some screw up because I've seen that on YouTube. Is I'll watch a
Right.
movie on YouTube and be like, this is 3 hours? And then no, it's like an hour and 10 minutes, but then for some reason there's like a whole bunch of just black at the end. And I thought maybe that, and nope, no, it went right up to an hour and 52.
An
I was like,
hour and
fuck.
52
I
minutes.
was like, all right.
And I mean, and when you watch it, you're just like,
It
like,
felt like an hour and 52
yeah,
minutes.
it felt like it. It kind of it bored me a lot, and stuff, which isn't the sign of quality, that's a terrible thing to have happen. But I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad you saw it, you know. Some other people might have said no. hour and 52 minutes. Nope, I'm not reviewing that. I'm not watching
I
that on
I
my
I,
own.
I
But
didn't realize that until today.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, sorry. We kept messing up somehow. Keep thinking it was this time or this time. Then we got it. We got it done. Right before Maneaters Monday, so it's perfect. The first Monday it's gonna be out. So thank you guys for checking this out. Everybody who did. Let us know what you guys think. Is this something that you guys can watch it for free on YouTube, I believe. If you find it, please let me know what you guys think. Um, if you have seen it before, tell me if you thought it was sucky and turned it off, or if you actually, because like you said, if you were reviewing it, you would have turned it off. I told you the same thing. I would have too if I wasn't reviewing it. Because, and in fact, I wanted to so bad to keep turning it off, but I was just like, I gotta get through it, man. It's like fucking it's like Alex in A Clockwork Orange. It's suffer through it until it's done.
I
Um,
kept wanting my cat to sit on me because then you don't like to move your cat when they're sitting on you. It's like, oh look, it's so cute. I don't want to move it even though I have to really pee. And so I'm like, okay, if the cat's sitting on me or by me, I can't get up because I don't want to disturb her. And so I kept like, come on, Natasha, come on, just like sit next to me. And it just gave me reasons not to. I was just trying to think of different reasons not to get up and turn it off.
Interestingly enough, my cat did the same thing. My cat came and he hadn't, maybe this movie just brings out cats, or something, but he sat on me and cuddled with me while I was watching the shitty movie. So it was awesome, you know. Um,
There you go.
but yeah, so if you guys have cats, maybe they'll hang out with you while you watch this movie. Um, a cat, well, I guess a lion is a cat, but like a killer cat movie I'd be down with for Maneaters. I kind of hope they bring this series back at some point. But I guess not. I think the Sci-Fi Channel has kind of gone a different direction. They're more like the Wrestling Network now and stuff.
Well,
And
that's probably why the last three aren't official man eaters because they
yeah,
probably like you said they had X amount of episodes. They're like, well, shit, to finish off the season, we have to do X amount of episodes. We'll just get these three movies and we're done. So yeah,
yep.
probably it will probably never come back.
That's a bummer. But
So
you know. Oh well, you know what? We have all the movies that are available, and they do. If you do buy them, sometimes they have them in packs, so you can buy like 6 pack or 8 pack of them or whatever. Kind of like beer, I guess. I don't drink it, but some people
I
do.
mean, I drink a little
You
too
might
much.
need to drink it if you're gonna watch this movie. Just
Oh
gonna
fuck, that
say.
probably would have been so much better to be
I know.
high or
Be high
both,
or
drunk and
drunk,
high.
drunk and high watching this movie. You might have been like, yeah, that's
The
those.
creature would have looked really cool if you were high.
And you probably could tolerate the sisters a little bit more if you're high.
Unfortunately, if I was high, it would Emma wouldn't be just Emma. It would be Emma. Everything would be like really slow. It'd be like, oh my
Oh
god,
God, that would probably annoy
this
you
is
even
three
worse.
hours.
Hmm. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for checking this out. I'm not sure what we're doing on next month and nor who's joining us, but it'll be a brand new guest and everything. I'm really excited. This is going to be a really fun ending to our series. So, hope you guys enjoy this. Until then, everybody. Bye.
Bye.